like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. So shine bright tonight. You and I. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Eye to eye, so alive. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Oh yeah. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate your party with you. Come on now. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on! It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on! It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on! Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here. A dedication to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate and party with you. Come on now. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Yeah, yeah. Celebration. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on! It's a celebration. It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on! Let's celebrate. Come on now.
Hello, I am Ashley Rollinson-Sonata, Director of Light of the World Ballet Company and School. Congratulations to the Parent Teacher Association on 125 years of serving the community. We at Light of the World Ballet are excited to know that the first conference was held in Syracuse, as we are based in Syracuse, New York. Thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity to feature our school youth ballet, which has had students from mainly the Janesville, DeWitt, and West Genesee school districts. We are so proud of our students who are from the PTA schools, and especially grateful that they are free to express their faith in a safe place through this opportunity. Thank you, Lisa Mount, a fellow dancer and Christian friend, for making this possible and inviting us. Light of the World Ballet was founded in 2005. We are located in Eastwood Plaza. We have a school for ages 3 through 18 and a youth ballet where we train students to be excellent from the inside out. Our training program is a 2-year professional performing training program for high school graduates. We have had numerous talented dancers train with our professional ballet company from all over the U.S. We have a full-time professional international ballet company that has traveled on over 20 different performing outreach tours to such places as Europe, the Middle East, India, Sri Lanka, the Philippines, Peru, as well as China, where we have been invited by the government to do performance projects within the schools and colleges. We also perform locally and in various places in the U.S. We have done projects in the Syracuse City Schools multiple times over the years with our story ballets, which engage students through seeing professional dancers on their own school stages. Students get to train with us and participate on stage with us in our performances, incorporating subjects like history or math. It is such an honor to encourage students to grow in knowledge while also developing character and confidence through the art of dance. We will be presenting locally Glory, a Christmas collective on December 11th, which features our company, trainees, and school. You can find more information on our website, lightoftheworldballet.com. Finally, Light of the World Ballet prays that each parent and teacher is refreshed, inspired, encouraged to not grow weary in well-doing and investing life into our young people. May we all continue to shine the light on every child that comes our way for another 125 years of this legacy. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Earth and shadow, restlessly hold.
Jesus' feet, and with gladness sing. Hail the Prince of Heaven comes, angel choirs sound the call, for this babe wrapped in our cloths, the incarnate Word of God. Oh, the kingdom and its power, resting now in this child, Prince of Heaven, Jesus, hope of the world.
Hello, I am Ashley Rollinson Sonata, Director of Light of the World Ballet Company and School. Congratulations to the Parent Teacher Association on 125 years of serving the community. We at Light of the World Ballet are excited to know that the first conference was held in Syracuse, as we are based in Syracuse, New York. Thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity to feature our school youth ballet, which has had students from mainly the Janesville, DeWitt, and West Genesee school districts. We are so proud of our students who are from the PTA schools, and especially grateful that they are free to express their faith in a safe place through this opportunity. Thank you, Lisa Mount, a fellow dancer and Christian friend, for making this possible and inviting us. Light of the World Ballet was founded in 2005. We are located in Eastwood Plaza. We have a school for ages 3 through 18 and a youth ballet where we train students to be excellent from the inside out. Our training program is a 2-year professional performing training program for high school graduates. We have had numerous talented dancers train with our professional ballet company from all over the U.S. We have a full-time professional international ballet company that has traveled on over 20 different performing outreach tours to such places as Europe, the Middle East, India, Sri Lanka, the Philippines, Peru, as well as China, where we have been invited by the government to do performance projects within the schools and colleges. We also perform locally and in various places in the U.S. We have done projects in the Syracuse City Schools multiple times over the years with our story ballets, which engage students through seeing professional dancers on their own school stages. Students get to train with us and participate on stage with us in our performances, incorporating subjects like history or math. It is such an honor to encourage students to grow in knowledge while also developing character and confidence through the art of dance. We will be presenting locally Glory, a Christmas collective, on December 11th, which features our company, trainees, and school. You can find more information on our website, lightoftheworldballet.com. Finally, Light of the World Ballet prays that each parent and teacher is refreshed, inspired, encouraged to not grow weary in well-doing and investing life into our young people. May we all continue to shine the light on every child that comes our way for another 125 years of this legacy. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Earth and shadow restlessly hold, labor's waiting in silent hope for the promise it longs to know what heaven holds. Then the
Prince of Heaven, we worship thee. King of glory, we gladly agree. Born in wonder and majesty, forever worthy, the earth will sing. Oh, Prince of Heaven, we worship thee. We can know him, this Prince of Peace, in light of mercy, confess our sin, lay our burdens at Jesus' feet, and with gladness sing. Hail the Prince of Heaven comes, angel choirs sound the call, for this babe wrapped in our darkness, the incarnate Word of God. Oh, the kingdom and its power, resting now in this child. Prince of Heaven, Jesus, hope of the world. You got what it takes, you can win. You got what it takes, you can win. Today is your day to begin. Don't give up here, don't you quit. The moment is now, this is it. I know that you can, then you will get to the top of the hill. Part of the fun is the climb. You just gotta make up your mind that today is your day, and nothing can stand in your way. Today is your day, everything's going your way. Today, today, today. When somebody throws sticks and stones, all they can break are your bones. And life's gonna kick you around, and then kick you again when you're down. But today is your day, and nothing can stand in your way. Today is your day, everything's going your way. Today, 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 today. Life's gonna kick you, it's gonna kick you around, it's gonna kick you down. Brush yourself off, no regrets. This is as good as it gets. Don't expect more or no less. Just go out and give it your best. Today is your day, and nothing can stand in your way. Today is your day, everything's going your way. Today, yeah. Today is your day. Today
Cupid. Time for a change. New style, down, do your dance, do your We got a brand new dance. Down, do your dance, swing out, baby. Do your dance, down, do your dance, do your dance. They say I'm a rapper, and I say no. They say what you doing, trying to do somebody cold. I just let the music come from my soul, so all of my people can stay on the floor. They got a brand new dance. You gotta move your muscle. A brand new dance. It's called a Cupid Shuffle. It don't matter if you're young or you're old. Here we go. We gon' show you how it goes. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now kick, now kick. Now walk it by yourself. Now walk it by yourself. Let me see you do the Cupid. Let me see you do the Cupid. Do the shuffle, baby. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now kick. Now walk it by yourself. Now walk it by yourself. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now kick. Now walk it by yourself. Now walk it by yourself. Now you see what I'm talking about. I represent for the dirty South, where we're known for swinging out. King of swing out, baby. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Hey. Let me see you do the Cupid shuffle, the Cupid shuffle, the Cupid shuffle, the Cupid shuffle. From that boy Cupid, the king of swing out, baby. Yeah. Here we go. To the right, the left. Now kick. Now come on, baby, kick. Now walk it by yourself. Walk it by yourself. To the right, to the right, to the right, the right. To the left, to the left, to the left, the left. Now kick. Now kick. Now walk it by yourself. Walk it by yourself and do the Cupid shuffle. Now let me see you do the Cupid shuffle. Now let me see you do the. It's your boy Cupid, C-U-P, the I, the D. Mr. Fat on the track, got another getting D. Do your dance. Come on. Do your dance. Let me see you. Do your dance. Do your dance. We got a brand new dance. We got a brand new sound. We got a brand new feel. We got a brand new style, y'all.
I paid my dues time after time.
Yes. No, it's not at the end. It's after.
But committed no crime and bad mistakes. I've made a few. I've had my shots and kicked in my face, but I've come through. I need to go on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting.
Okay, if everyone could please take their seats. I apologize for the delay in getting started. We're just catching up. I actually spent all my time in the last hour. I wanted to go and I've been asking all of you to see all the vendors and I had not yet met with all of the vendors. I had only met with some last night, so I just spent my last hour having conversations and making connections and relationships. I hope that you had that opportunity to do that as well. And from what everyone has said that I got a chance to speak with, they did have great conversations with you. And so I appreciate that you took the time to spend with them and to learn from them, and I hope that you can form some relationships of your own with them. Okay. The third general session of the 125th New York State PTA Annual Convention 2021 will come to order. It's fun. Thank you for this afternoon's talented entertainment performed by Light of the World Ballet here in Syracuse, New York, under the direction of Director Ashley Rollinson Tsunada, and the song Prince of Heaven by Hillsong with junior high and high school students from the Syracuse area. We hope you had time to visit the in-person, and I always do that, right? I speak from the top of my head and then it's right there in the script. But again, we're very much appreciative that you go and spend time with our vendors. They appreciate it, and we have great working relationships with them, and so we hope you continue to work with them as well. The last in-person workshop and 2 virtual workshop sessions will take place tomorrow morning before the last general session. Before we begin, a reminder that the full program can be found in the resource tab at the top of your screen. If you're in person, you have a copy of that, I'm assuming still, since I've announced it now 2 or 3 times over the course of the convention. To establish the voting power of the delegates at the New York State PTA Conference 2021, the first order of business in the report is to give the report of the Credentials Committee. Patty Frazier, our treasurer, will provide that.
Madam President, I move the adoption of the Credentials Committee report as of 3 p.m. as presented, indicating a total of 263 voting delegates, 83 non-voting, including guests, speakers, sponsors, and exhibitors, for a total of 346 attendees representing 12 regions.
Thank you, Patty. This is a committee report and requires no second. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the adoption of the credentials report signify by voting yes. Any opposed signify by voting no. While we're waiting for the clock to tick down, I hope you enjoy your lunch. I hope you have met new people and you have gotten around to maybe form new friendships. And I challenge you tomorrow morning at breakfast to sit with someone different than you had, that you sat with today for lunch. And maybe you'll make a new friend, and your new friendship will grow with other friends, and you'll keep coming back to our convention. So like summer camp, you want to see your friends over and over again. And the only way to do that is to come back to convention.
The poll has now closed.
Okay, do you have the results, please? Okay. There is a majority in the affirmative. You have adopted the third credentials report, and a voting power of many delegates has been established.
Or 263.
Thank you. We may proceed with the business of convention. Before we hear from our keynote speaker, let's have a few words from Alliance partners, Changemaker and Swank Movie Licensing, and then our own PTA store, Maverick Gail Glagora.
My name is Billy with the Changemaker Initiative. We're super excited to be partners with the New York State PTA. Now, we take fundraising and make it extremely simple. It's COVID-friendly, easy to use, very lucrative, and a lot of fun. We take a concept of fundraising and boil it down to where it's simple for our school partners to make money and to make impact at the same time. If you're intrigued and want to learn more, take out your phone, go right over this QR code, and book a demo with us. We'll spend 15-20 minutes telling you more about how the program works. Our Change Roundup program is going to make a big impact to make change at your school.
Hello, my name is Seth Acock. I'm with Swank Movie Licensing USA, and we are so excited to continue our partnership with New York State PTA and be able to participate in your 125th annual convention. Make sure to stop by our table or also visit us in the virtual exhibitor hall. We'd love to get to teach you more about what the annual public performance site license covers, including indoor and outdoor and virtual movie events, as well as be able to share with you your preferred New York State PTA rates and the exclusive member benefits that come along with that. So thanks so much. We look forward to seeing you.
Oh, hi guys, welcome back. It's Gail from the PTA store again. I just wanted to show you some great luggage and apparel or luggage things that we carry at the PTA store. Nowadays, of course, half of us are doing our meetings by Zoom, so you can dress in anything you want to come to a PTA meeting nowadays. Anyways, I have these great duffels. They come PTA, PTSA, there it is, $15 each. And these are both available on shoppta.com.
I will just say that when I first started attending convention, my favorite thing was to buy one of everything from the PTA store. Interestingly enough, 20 years later, it still is. And Gail was one of the first friends I made outside of my region, because every time I would come to an event, I'd say, "What do you have that's new?" And so she started after a few years of putting aside one of everything that's new because she knew I was going to buy it. So we have a special relationship. I love her. I'm thrilled to introduce our guest speaker this afternoon, New York State's 2017 Teacher of the Year. She's just fabulous. I'm just going to say that. It's not here in the bio, but she is phenomenal. She is also our past New York State PTA Education Coordinator and our current New York State PTA Wellness Coordinator. This is Amy Heisick. Our teachers, educators, and school-related professionals are heroes. Each and every day, our educators support our children in incredible and unique ways, and Amy's accomplishments are second to none. When she was Teacher of the Year, she was a keynote speaker for us. We had never met her before. She had not been involved in PTA, and the second she walked through the door, there was a connection. There really was, and we just fell in love. I think it was a mutual fan
100%,
society, fan club, if that's the word. And at the time, I was the Vice President of Advocacy, and we needed a new education coordinator. And I called her up, and I'm like, "Listen, you wowed us. Do you have any interest?" And well, here she is now, 5 years later, and we're so happy to have you here again to speak as the New York Teacher of the Year. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our 125th annual convention. I am thrilled to welcome you to my hometown. This is where I grew up. Syracuse has been a wonderful place for me to grow and to learn, and I hope that this weekend at our convention is that for you as well. In addition to being the current wellness coordinator for the New York State PTA, I am also a high school biology teacher who believes that the best learning happens by doing. So welcome to the participatory part of my program. Today's lesson will be on human anatomy, and in order to do that, I need everyone to stand. Okay. So what I want all of you to do is I need for you to take one step forward in ultra super slow motion. Okay, now do it again, because practice makes permanent. Did you know practice doesn't make perfect? Perfect practice makes perfect, but practice makes permanent as you establish pathways in your brain, but I'm a brain nerd, so that's a tangent. Okay, you're done. It's okay. You can sit down now. Thank you for going along with my crazy. Okay. So I just had you take a step forward, but let's think for a minute what that really entails. I want you to stop and think about the body mechanics that are involved in walking, in taking a step, and realize that you are pretty remarkable. The human body has 206 bones and 640 muscles that all have to work together and be coordinated in order to be able to take a step, a controlled step, to prevent you from losing your balance and falling flat on your face. But that's really what walking is, after all. It's falling forward. Every step is a shift of body weight where you have to trust your other leg and your foot to be able to catch you. And then you do it again and again, and we do it without thinking. We aren't always successful. I am actually quite talented in falling up the stairs, usually while holding a full cup of coffee, which is why my wardrobe contains nothing that is the color white. But there's a moment when your body weight shifts, and just enough that you start to fall, and you catch yourself most of the time. Even a stumble now and again reminds us to take a closer look around us, to slow down, to be more alert, to look out for both the obstacles that are around us and the helpers that are there to help pick us up. But the main takeaway is that walking while still falling happens forward. I don't know about you, but this season of COVID has felt like repeatedly tripping up the stairs, usually with a full cup of coffee. Changes have happened really fast. There's been shifts in education, in family dynamics, health concerns, employment, unemployment, and it's been hard to catch our collective breath. We feel like so much of our life is outside our control right now, and we therefore try to exert some measure of control in whatever parts of our life we think that we can influence. But that doesn't always work out the way that we think that it will. So in my job as a high school biology teacher, I have 4 sections of 10th grade biology class. Except in New York, we call it living environment. By this point in the year, most of my kids have gotten on board with my classroom vision, and we're having a great adventure. We're learning about lions and elephants and ecosystems in Africa and what they can teach us about complex systems and the interconnectedness of all organisms. We're evaluating data and measuring populations and learning in groups, and we get to dissect elephant poop next week. No, really. No, it's not real, but don't tell my kids that. But notice how I said most of my kids? I have one class that, to me, feels like they are actively working against my earnest desire to help them learn biology. Many of my mornings feel like an uphill battle to be more engaging than Snapchat, more interesting than online games with friends, and more relevant than TikTok, at least during class time. My efforts to win them over, to cajole them into taking their education seriously, and to inspire them to choose wisely have felt more like tripping up the stairs or doing the zombie shuffle. It feels like an entire limb of my teaching body has decided not to work correctly, and it's not a pleasant experience at the moment. I hope that I will be able to get them headed in the right direction, but right now it feels like one leg just doesn't want to work properly. We stumble a bunch on our forward march through the curriculum, but we're moving forward, so that's something. But we also need to remember that lesson as well. We are all part of the same body. We are part of the system of bones and muscles that supports our family, our children, our schools, our teachers, and our communities. And if we aren't coordinated in our efforts, or if we actively work against each other, we're headed for a fall up the stairs. Forward progress requires coordination and cooperation. It requires a common vision for the direction in which we're headed. It requires communication to and from all of the units and councils and regions that drive our work forward. Notice how the beginning of a step is under your control. You can choose to stay where you are and put your foot back down without really going anywhere. But when you shift your body weight far enough, there's a moment of commitment, a point at which there is no turning back. You are committed to forward motion, and your muscles must work together or you fall. The great strength of our association is the fact that we work for every child with one voice. Even though we come from every corner of the state, from rural, from urban, and from suburban areas, we are parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles and friends, and we all care about kids. We work together to educate and to advocate, to fill the gaps and to lift children's voices, to inspire them to create and learn and grow and become. We agree to actively band together in service to the 2.6 million children that live in New York State as one association. And that's how we continue to move forward. We are committed to forward motion. We choose to trust in each other and coordinate our efforts and work together toward our goals. New York State PTA has done some pretty amazing things in the last 125 years. Just think about all the progress that we're going to continue to make when we make the conscious choice to keep falling forward together. Thank you.
And now you all know why we feel the way we feel about her. Yeah, yeah. And those sneakers, wow. Thank you, Amy. We're so lucky to have you part of our PTA family. And something that struck me as I was sitting here listening, the first time Amy spoke as Teacher of the Year was about her students and education, and the way that you tied in PTA to it, because it's become such an integral part of your life, it just really touched me. So I loved it. Now I have these. Okay, so now, in more exciting news, please join me in watching our next set of past president videos, please.
President from November 2014 to November 2016. I live right outside of Syracuse, where we are currently celebrating the 125th year of New York State PTA at this annual convention. My theme for my presidency was communicate to advocate, and it definitely set the stage for a productive 2 years. In 2015, we launched the first online membership enrollment system for New York State PTA that allowed us to collect additional information from membership and introduced our members to the concept of an electronic membership card. We also launched a needs assessment of the association to find out what our members want and to address communication disconnects. We asked members to share their awesome, my first year, and why PTA the second. Advocacy for the arts was represented by our first two Reflections Roadshows, which is the predecessor to our current annual art celebration. During that time, we also decided to update our Parents as Reading Partners PART program with a new name, Pick a Reading Partner, and this was to reflect the changing times. We advocated for health and wellness as a key partner with the legislator and governor's office in the heroin crisis in New York, and we worked on passage of critical treatment legislation. Advocating for education was, of course, a priority as well. We were active participants in helping with the ESSA plan and New York State standards. The 2015 convention was also the first time we live-streamed our convention. It was so exciting. And although just a few are general sessions, and not as interactive as this convention, it was a big step into the online convention world of today. And finally, we expanded our communication and our online presence on Facebook, Twitter, and started to utilize Pinterest and YouTube in combination with everything above to help us communicate to advocate. Congratulations, New York State PTA, on your 125th year as you look forward to a great future.
Thanks, everybody. My name is Maria DeWall. I'm a past state president from 2005 to 2008. And it is such a pleasure to be with you celebrating this very important milestone of the 125th anniversary of the New York State PTA. If I think back on my own presidency, my theme was connecting the dots. And I started out by saying, has everybody ever done a connect the dots picture as a child or even as an adult? Some of them can get very complicated connecting those dots. And everybody in the room raised their hand. And I said, well, it's a simple thing sometimes, but it takes knowing where to start, what your goal is, in other words, the end, and connecting everything in a logical sequence, connecting the dots so that the picture can evolve. And if you miss those dots, or if you only connect some of them, you don't get the whole picture at all. And that's exactly what we concentrated on in my presidency, to bring everybody connected with children's education into the picture so that we can have the most complete picture of supporting kids and parents that we could. And everybody, of course, every component of education includes everybody from superintendents to principals to teachers to parents and the community supporters. It's so important for us to maintain those connections. And that's one of the best things that New York State PTA does. PTA really facilitates those connections and makes sure that those connections all are on trying to get everybody on the same page about important issues. And the last thing I'd like to say is, we're an advocacy organization, and sometimes advocacy can be daunting. It can be boring. It can be, just because it takes so long, it takes such persistence and patience. Sometimes we don't even get to see the end result. But I just want to put in your mind that if every one of you PTA members, delegates, and all the PTA members across the state just took one thing that you can remember that you did for your child or any child during your term, and during your time in PTA, and you multiply that by the millions of PTA members there have been over 125 years, I think you can get a small idea of the impact that PTA has on children and families. So I congratulate you for being at the convention. I congratulate PTA on the 125th. I wish you well, wish I could be with you, and please keep up the wonderful, wonderful work you do. All best.
I am Kyle Bellikapitsky, your very proud executive director, and in conjunction with our president, Madam Dana Platon, with our executive committee, it is our honor and privilege to present to you our State of the Association.
New York State PTA must shine a light on every child with one voice. And this work has never been more important or more challenging than it is today. Since January 2020, we've been in a global pandemic, and New York was hit the earliest and hardest. We have tragically lost loved ones, watched our communities suffer from underemployment, unemployment, food insecurity, and trauma. And with our state in crisis, New York State PTA reacted. PTA has never been more important than it is now. Advocacy, family engagement, diversity and inclusion, direct services, education, and communication. This is the work we've been doing, the work that we must continue to do, and the work that will make an impact on the lives of our children.
And through it all, one thing remains: our commitment, our dedication, and our support of children, of families, of schools, educators, and community. We watch our members across the state support their communities in new and unique ways. We supported our healthcare workers, our essential workers, our first responders. We transformed into a direct service model, the first ever for New York State PTA, to meet the needs of our families. And most importantly, we witnessed school leaders, educators, teachers, school-related professionals, and staff become true heroes. If you are a wonderful educator, school leader, school board member, school-related professional, or teacher, please stand.
I'm already standing.
It has never been more important that we ask you today to believe, to remember your why, to be a dream maker for every child, to make a difference. See, today, those asks have never been more important. As we continue to focus on key priorities for our association and for children and families and educators across New York State: leadership, diversity, advocacy, membership programs, youth, engagement, and support for our students, families, and educators. because we are PTA proud. It is my distinct privilege to ask members of our governance team to join me on stage today: Susan Fisher, Tina Scheck, Namiko Suga, and Rob Rijos.
우리는 PTA입니다. 우리는 모든 어린이의 한 목소리를 옹호합니다.
That's Korean for we are PTA. We advocate for every child in one voice in Korean.
Вместе мы прольем свет на каждого ребенка. Мы родительская преподавательская ассоциация. Together we will shine a light on every child. We are PTA, and that was in Russian.
Buenas tardes. Lo decimos con orgullo. Todos nosotros somos parte de esta asociación de padres y maestros, PTA Strong.
Minasan, watashi tachi wa PTA desu. We are PTA.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our Secretary, Melissa Cankrow, the designated officer for Youth and Bylaws.
Thank you. Well, there is no one more important to our association than our youth. Our youth are not just the leaders for the future, they are the leaders for today. They are leading in their schools, in their homes, and their communities right now. We are honored to have two youth members on our board of directors, Sydney Prescott, who is here virtually, and Zach Giappo, who is here. Zach's right over there. Thanks, Zach. We want to take this moment to officially thank them for their voice and commitment to our association. The youth perspective is critical to our work, and we must find new and unique ways to engage youth. And we are so New York State PTA proud because Sydney Prescott has been appointed to the National PTA Youth Committee. And they just presented to the National PTA Board a presentation on youth, and so Sydney had a lot to do with that and did a lot of hard work. This year we had another successfully full virtual youth summit. We had nearly 100 youth join us for an evening of learning, fun, and advocacy. We even played a few games and had some PTA trivia, which I didn't do so well with, so I'm going to have to brush up a little bit. It was fantastic. We're also very proud of our youth committee, who is comprised of youth from all around the state. And we'll be continuing to meet and discuss ways we can increase engagement of our youth and find new and unique ways to support our youth and children. We challenge our units to find their own exciting ways to engage and involve youth because their voices are important. They are living with our educational decisions and policies that are being implemented, and they can help us shape a better future, not just for themselves, but for all children. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our first Vice President, Helen Hoffman.
2020, 2021 were two of the most challenging years our PTAs have faced in recent years. Our units, regions, and our state association had to overnight transform their model of support into something we have never seen before. It was exceptionally hard work
but our students needed our support more than ever. Our -1 mission in 2021 was to bring our units and councils back. And in 2019-2020, unfortunately, many of our units could not function. I am so proud of our field team. They went right into support mode. The field team, along with our region directors and their region boards, have been working extremely hard to get our units and councils the support that they so need. It is no small feat. Please join me in giving a round of applause to these amazing volunteers. It was our mission to support every unit in every region so that we could support every child. Our team worked on critical issues facing units such as conflict resolution, discrimination, nominations and election of officers, and most importantly, how PTAs could transform and work in the new virtual world. It was our job to get every unit not in good standing back to doing the important work that PTA does. We worked together to avoid dissolutions of units and councils and chartered an amazing number of units during this pandemic. I'm exceptionally proud of the work we did in rechartering the Williams School PTA in Mount Vernon and the Long Island Pride PTSA in Nassau region. But as you heard this morning, one of the most incredible and exciting charters is going on right now, with the chartering of the statewide LGBTQ plus PTSA to support families and youth in our state. This effort is very near and dear to my heart. In supporting our units and councils, the field team also worked on a number of new policy documents, including the New York State alcohol policy, the New York State PTA on charitable gaming guidelines, and the New York State updated COVID and insurance guide, which we did many times. Mm-hmm. Yes, right? We also worked on grade level committee updates for the New York State PTA resource guide. Our FSCs provided region board training, and we provide critical region board training on child protection. And there is much more to come. I stand here today to tell you the field is strong and ready to support our students. We are PTA proud.
Thank you, Helen. It's my pleasure now to introduce Vice President Lucille Vitale, our designated officer for advocacy.
Advocacy is PTA's primary mission. Now, I'm going to repeat that sentence along with everybody in this room. Advocacy is PTA's primary mission. It can't be any more important than that. We must support the education, physical and mental welfare, and safety of our children and youth. We must continue to engage our members, educators, and the community by expanding awareness of issues and policies affecting children and families. We must equip New York State PTA leaders and members to become trusted messengers and champions for children and families. And it has been another challenging year, facing new difficulties and opportunities under the COVID-19 pandemic. But one thing remained: PTA's support for children and families. Here are just some of our advocacy efforts and accomplishments. We continue our opposition to the legalization of recreational marijuana to ensure the safety and health of our children. We continue to fight for increased funding for mental health support for students, for school counselors, social workers, and other mental health professionals and programs. We won clean water for our students and children as we move towards a lead-free and PFAS-free water. That's right. We continue to fight for free access to high-quality broadband for all families and digital and tech equity for students. After a nearly 20-year battle with New York State PTA as a primary plaintiff in the campaign for fiscal equity lawsuits, we won full funding for our schools. It will be a truly amazing opportunity for our children, but our work is not done. And we will continue to fight for our children, whole child education, recess, universal pre-K, and kindergarten for all, and support for our English language learners, our children in foster care, our homeless students, and our students with disabilities. We won a battle on vaping and e-cigarette flavors, a ban on vaping on school grounds, and Tobacco 21. We launched a new, clap, that's right, that was a big deal. We launched a new comprehensive COVID-19 webpage with resources for families, educators, and units. We served on the Governor's School Reopening Council, the only statewide education group to have a seat at the table, and served on the State Education Department's Reopening Task Force. We fought for revised guidance on supporting students with disabilities and won in-person summer instruction for those students. We launched the New York State PTA Meals Initiative, directly serving children, families, and community members with assisting in food insecurity and facilitation of WIC, SNAP, and other assistance programs. We partnered with Fidelis Healthcare in another direct service model and helped families obtain health insurance. We advocated for extension and permanent adoption of universal meals for all New York State children. We continue to fight for meaningful pathways to graduation for all children and expansion of career and technical education. We continue to fight for a parent's right to make educational and health decisions for their children. We continue to advocate for fair, limited, and the developmentally appropriate diagnostic-only assessments. We called for expansion and funding to recovery high schools and the prevention and treatment of heroin and opioid abuse. And for this work, and because of the great work of our PTA members across the state, New York State PTA was awarded the National PTA Outstanding State Advocacy Award. Woo. We are PTA proud. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Vice President Amani DeGame, Designated Officer for Leadership Development.
The New York State PTA recognizes the great importance of diversifying our PTA membership across the state of New York. But even more significantly, of diversifying our PTA leadership to represent and serve every child and all children. This work is clearly in line with PTA's mission and the New York State PTA vision statement. Our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion is becoming embodied in all areas of our work and all levels in New York State PTA. I am thrilled to share that New York State PTA Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Toolkit is set to be released shortly on the PTA website in the next few days. This true labor of love and culmination of many hours of passionate and insightful discussions amongst the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee is going to be designed as a step-by-step guide for PTAs to engage in this very important and essential work. We have also emphasized this work during this year's New York State PTA Convention. We started with the day today with a diversity, equity, and inclusion event that was very well received and definitely expressed our commitment. We followed today with a workshop presented by our National PTA President, Anna King, which was extremely passionate and very well received. We will follow through tomorrow with a second workshop by the leadership team of New York State PTA on how to diversify leadership and express our diversity in our PTAs across the state. We're very excited to share that the New York State PTA Board of Directors has this year unanimously approved 2 awards. The New York State PTA Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Award will acknowledge units, councils, and regions that have been engaged in promoting the message and principles and actions of diversity, equity, and inclusion in our schools and in our communities. Applications will be released in February of 2022. Look out for them. We can't wait to learn and hear about the great work that you're doing across the state and how you've done DEI. And for the first time today, we are announcing a new Leadership Award program. This will be launched in early 2022, where all of you leaders across the state will be able to earn virtual badges every time you attend a workshop, a webinar, an event in your region or in the state, events, or certain activities that you can participate in and earn those virtual badges. All those badges you can culminate to earn the New York State PTA Silver Apple Award or Golden Apple Award in line with our newly released logo of the apple. This year we continued to keep up with the trends and together with the field team, our governance team members and our board members, develop all these webinars that are virtually available to our New York State PTA volunteers to develop their knowledge and expertise in all matters PTA, including virtual nominations and elections, including how to build membership in the 3rd COVID-19 year, etc. All these webinars continue to be posted on our website for you to have later access to them and to share them with your colleagues on PTA. Last but not least, the leadership development team is very excited and ready to support the launch of our new New York State statewide LGBTQ+ PTSA charter. We are here to support them to assure this much-needed statewide unit has every opportunity to serve and represent all gender-diverse children and families. This is a historic moment. We are the first statewide charter nationally of this type of unit. We will support all children and families. We are all PTA proud. And I will share this with you in Arabic. نحن فخورين بمجلس الأهالي والمدرسين. Thank you.
My pleasure now to introduce Vice President Kelly Short, Designated Officer of Programs.
Programs. Programs is the heart of our work. It shines a light on every child. New York State PTA is one of the continuous expansions of programs, awards, and even grants. Our new initiative, Teacher Grants, is in its 3rd year, and we proudly award teachers and grants all around and our amazing classroom teachers. We continue to support our youth and teachers with our scholarship programs. While we couldn't have our annual New York State PTA Celebrations of the Arts for a 2nd year, we did continue our fantastic virtual celebration of the arts event. Literacy remains a high priority for New York State PTA, and as Dr. Seuss reminds us, the more you read, the more things you know, the more you learn, the more places you'll go. New York State PTA, Pick a Reading Partner, continues to transform our lives by encouraging children to read with an adult partner as they learn to love reading. And we continue to expand our literacy programs in conjunction with new alliance partners and new financial literacy programs. Despite the pandemic, our wellness initiative, Every Child Healthy, continues to be widely successful with a virtual wellness webinar series, new family engagement webinar series and activities, and we even play tennis and soccer online. Our traffic safety program, Every Child Travels Safely, has continued to expand, and we were able to move virtually and support those students. In more exciting news, we'll be looking out for new STEM and family initiatives coming to you. Know that New York State PTA programs have never been stronger as we continue to seek and expand our ways in offering support to our children and our educators. We are PTA proud. Thank you.
My pleasure to introduce our treasurer, Patty Frazier, Designated Officer of Membership.
PTA your way, as there is no wrong way to PTA. Well, there is one wrong way, and that is by not joining. Because the foundation of our association are our members. And New York State PTA is more than 200,000 voices strong in our advocacy for all children. And despite the effects of the pandemic, our membership is now growing. Why? Because of our commitment to the value and mission of PTA. And because our members and volunteers make a difference every day in the life of a child. This year, the membership team continued our successful membership award badges and incentives program. This past year, even with the effects of COVID, 60 units reached 100% or more of their goal by January 31st to receive the Savvy Membership Award. I'm pleased to announce that currently 133 units this year have already reached that milestone. In August, we introduced the monthly membership newsletter for our unit leaders, affectionately known as the Memo, to a great success. We held the inaugural The Great PTA Sign-Up Day in February as a tie-in to Founders Day. It resulted in 1,132 new members. And just recently, we had our second The Great PTA Sign-Up Day. The results, fabulous. We held this recently on November 10th and proudly welcomed 5,302 new members on that day who had joined our local PTAs. To expand our support for membership, we added a new governance team position, the Membership Engagement Specialist. And we know we found the right candidate for that job because shortly afterwards, our own Renee Daniels was appointed to the National PTA Membership Committee. So other highlights for the membership year for 21-22, we've added new award badges to support our units in their efforts. we held a series of web chats for each region for unit leaders to be introduced to our membership drive and ask questions about how to best manage their membership campaign. We created a new membership playbook detailing this year's membership drive, which is available electronically to all of our unit leaders. As a team, we helped launch the New York State PTA TikTok account. And finally, we've already surpassed last year's membership goal to date, and we're moving closer toward our goal of 200,000 members. We are also very proud to share and welcome the following new units who chartered between October 1st, 2020 and September 30th, 2021. I invite any members from these units to stand as your unit is called. Bayport, Blue Point, SEPTA, and Suffolk Region. Charles Lunford, School 19, PTSA, Genesee Valley Region. Jamesville, DeWitt, SEPTA, in SEPSA, Southeastern Region. Lincoln Attendance Zone, PTSA, Westchester, East Putnam Region. Milford Wildcats, PTSA, Leatherstocking Region. Niskayuna SEPTA, Northeastern Region. Shaker High School PTSA, Northeastern Region. The Huguenot Academy PTSA, Westchester East Putnam Region. Waterville Strong PTSA, Leatherstocking Region. West Seneca SEPTA, Western Region. We are PTA proud. And now for a report on our state finances. Because of the continuous and hard work of our governance team, our budget and finance committees from last year and this year, as well as our office staff, I am so proud to share that our association remains fiscally sound, strong, and stable. With infusions of revenue from non-dues resources, coupled with our stronger than projected membership revenue, and a review and prioritization of our spending, especially during the global pandemic, we are still able to grow our programs and service to our members, children, educators, and families. And for the 6th straight year, New York State PTA did not have a need to use any of our reserves to cover our expenses. Our 2020-21 audit was performed by the Bonadio Group, and they have once again expressed an unqualified opinion on our financial statements, which in turn have been reviewed and approved by our board of directors. An unqualified opinion is the best and highest opinion an audit firm can provide. And we are extremely proud to share that in 2020-21, New York State PTA increased our total net assets by over $381,000, while greatly increasing, again, our programs and services. Really, this is an astounding mark for our association that has grown so much over the past several years. The future of New York State PTA is strong, and we are PTA proud.
Wow. I also want to acknowledge, before we go on, 2 members from our governance team who have also been proudly appointed to national PTA committees. Kelly Short, who is our Vice President for Programs. She is on the National PTA Committee for Programs, so congratulations to her. And our Leadership Development Coordinator, Rob Rios, has been appointed to the National PTA Leadership Development Committee. I honestly couldn't be more proud to have all of the members from our governance team who represent New York State PTA so well. And when Anna called and said, we really want New York represented, I couldn't think of 4 more dedicated and fantastic suggestions, and we thank you for appointing them to National PTA. Thank you. It's a wonderful opportunity for them and for us. Thank you. In closing, we know this work is hard. We know this work is difficult. We know this work has challenges, and we know this even more so. But if not you, then who? Who would believe that we can make every child's potential a reality? Who would believe that we can support every family with the challenges they may face? Who would believe that we can truly make a difference for each of our 2.6 million school children in New York State? Who would stand up for our English language learners, our students with disabilities, our children in foster care, our homeless students, our LGBTQ+ students, our students living in poverty, our students who are hungry, our students in trauma? If not you, then who? We, the PTA, are dream makers. We, the PTA, are advocates. We, the PTA, have hope. We, the PTA, stand up for kids. And we, the PTA, believe. Our work is never done. Each and every day, our children rely on us to uplift them, to support them, and to believe in them. There is no other more important work, and we are PTA proud. And now I'm honored to introduce Scott Averill of Fidelis Care, our partner in child health and wellness. Our Every Child Healthy initiative is a key component of the work New York State PTA does. In conjunction with Fidelis Care, we have a keen focus on child wellness and mental health. We thoroughly thank Fidelis Care for their support and partnership these past years, and we look forward to our continued work together. Scott.
Y'all hear me? Oh, you want me to wave? Okay. We have
kids about having, and even parents about sort of having a safety plan.
Like I said again, touch, pass, inside the foot.
Held for such a long time. We've been instructing kids to sing the birthday song while they're watching.
They're limited in terms of their interactions. Studies have shown that there are links.
Fidelis Care is proud to partner with the New York State PTA throughout the year.
Holiday season from all of us here at Fidelis Care. And yes, the holidays will to handle these feelings, whether your child will be returning to the classroom,
I didn't follow instructions, Kyle. Sorry. So that's just a snippet of our programs. We've been engaged with the PTA, and first of all, thank you for the opportunity to present at your annual conference, 125th. Very impressive presentations, and I have to admit it's a little awkward being in person. I'm so used to Zoom. I think this is my first public event. We just went back to official returning to office on Monday at Fidelis Care. So just still getting used to not looking at a video screen. It's much nicer like this. But so we plan on continuing the Every Child Healthy. It was great to hear it mentioned in one of the report outs. Next year and beyond, hopefully. We greatly value our partnership with the PTA. There still are 100,000 kids not covered, and that's our mission at Fidelis Care, long been our mission to focus on the uninsured, the people that are less fortunate, to try to get them covered. Even though we've been incredibly successful over almost 30 years with over 2 million members, 2.4 million, there's still 5% of the population not covered, 100,000 of which are kids. And working with you, that's our plan for the upcoming year, to fully engage both virtually and in person to see if we can find and get these kids coverage. And we don't really care at Fidelis Care whether it's with Fidelis, we just want them covered. And I want to make that point very clear, because as a facilitated enroller for New York State, we show all options, and it's about getting the kids covered with the best option that's suitable for their needs. So just again, thank you for the opportunity. It's just a pleasure to be here. I'm glad it's a lot warmer in here too. So.
Just before we go on, I was sitting here for just a moment. My papers fell all over the floor. I was gathering them together to make sure that I could read everything in order. And one of my very dear friends, I accidentally forgot to mention. My sincerest apologies to Patrice Racklin, who is a member of the Legislation Committee for National PTA. And she's been doing that for a couple of years now. And I would just like to point out something very special about something that occurred this year when we had conversations with National PTA with Anna and with Yvonne. We were talking about testing and, whether or not as state education departments across the country would waive testing and so on and so forth. And we were very passionate about it. And we thank Patrice very much for bringing our New York passion to national and the open conversations and really truly honest open conversations that we had with Anna and Yvonne and Leslie Boggs, who was our past president. It was a wonderful dialogue, and it really, I think it really strengthened the bonds that we have. And I thank Patrice for really just being a part of that committee and with our needs in mind. So I'm sorry that I forgot to mention you. I do love you. Now it's my honor to introduce Erin Hubbard from our brand new literacy partner, LightSail. I hope you had a chance to meet with her and hear all about LightSail. But here she is.
Hi, thank you, Madam President. Welcome, everybody here. 125 years, that's amazing. My name is Erin Hubbard. I'm with LightSail, and I am beyond thrilled not only to be here at this amazing convention, y'all outdo yourselves, it is amazing here, but also to be a Presidential Alliance partner with you this year. But we've got a problem. Our students have been on a quest with teachers and parents and families supporting them in their search. But for most, it has been unsuccessful. Alas, many have fallen along the way, too exhausted to continue their search for two mythical beasts that elude many a young reader, the reading unicorn or the reading dragon. You see, she's an elusive beast, extremely rare and incredibly unique. In fact, she appears differently to every reader. She's that mythical, perfect book at the perfect reading level and the perfect content, the complete trifecta. often mistaken with flashy covers, masquerading as quality literature. The quest is real. So how do you know you found her? It's simple. It's that moment when the world melts away and the reader becomes engulfed in the words, releasing themselves into the magic within that book. So whether you have voracious readers, I'll read if I have to's, or those anti-library picketers, y'all know who I'm talking about, we all know the challenge of finding that great book, especially when we're questing to help our students to read independently at home. But Lightsail is here to help. And there's just one question you all need to ask. What is my student's reading identity? That's the key. The reading identity lies within a student, and there are 4 different areas I'd like for you to consider. Number 1, the reading level. They've got to be able to read the material with a bit of challenge here and there, but not just pronouncing the words. They have to comprehend that content. And then the content, whatever that genre, this is number 2, it needs to be appropriate for their maturity level. Number 3 is interest. Cover art is intriguing, but it's what's on the inside that counts. High quality content with a hook. And number 4, accessibility. Do they have access to books at home, at school? Are they able to read them well? Or are there other challenges that we may need to help them with? And then you put them all together, and there she is, that unicorn that we're all questing to find, or dragon if you prefer. Lightsail for Reading at Home helps parents and families unlock the doors to a real-life wonderland with tens of thousands of reading unicorns and dragons basking in their digital glory, armed with their collection of multimedia resources, just waiting to meet that just right kid. And how do we do it at Lightsail? How do we put you on the right path on your quest? We adjust the content based on your students' individual reading levels, tracked by Lexile as they read for both fluency and comprehension. And they have their own personalized libraries that adapt and grow along with them as they grow on their reading journey. More importantly, kids are empowered to choose their own reading materials, embedded with multimedia content and connected to related resources like TED Ed Talks or World Book Encyclopedia and enticing titles. We even have live streams from all over the world where they can log in and watch, and then show them related content, books, that they can slide into reading from a different angle. And the magic we offer at Lightsail, we Lightsail our books, enabling your student to personalize everything from font size to color, to how fast it might read out loud to them, to special fonts for dyslexia support, special templates for kids with ADD or ADHD and other reading challenges, how many words show up on a page or highlight at a time, and so much more. The possibilities are endless. It's a goldmine for any reader at any level. So, dear friends of the NYS PTA, I invite you all to quest with us to help us help your students find their unicorns and dragons and develop their reading identity with Lightsail for Reading at Home, the 21st century digital literacy solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Literacy continues to be of highest priority for our association, and we are thrilled to expand our programs and services for students. Now, while I have Erin here, Erin, let's all stand up, give a stretch, and apparently Erin and I will be leading you in the YMCA. Yeah, come on out. Come on out.
Young man, there's no need to feel down.
just thanked Erin for being a good sport. So thank you very much. And I really need to practice these dances because I can get up in front of 1,000 people and speak, but dancing in front of you, not my thing. Okay. Well, that was invigorating, right? I'd like to now get back to some unfinished business from our last session and call Patrice back up so we can continue with the resolutions process.
Picking up where we left off.
I'm looking for that spot myself. We are on page 57, rescission number 1. Okay, so we are going to get started, and if we recall, it was painfully quiet earlier in the session, but let's get some of that quiet back.
All right, here we go. Right, since we've finished the retentions and the updates, next is rescissions. Thank you, Madam President. I will read the resolves and the statement detailing why the Resolutions Committee is recommending the following 3 resolutions for rescission. We've got rescission 1. Madam President, by direction of the Resolutions Committee, I move the adoption of rescission number 1, Committee on Preschool Special Education, CPSE, parent member. Resolved that the New York State Congress of Parents and Teachers, Inc. urge that a mandated parent member to the CPSE committee, as established by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Improvement Act of 2004, be eligible to serve for 5 years past the designated time that their child is declassified by the committee or ages out of CPSE level services. Statement. This resolution should be rescinded as Education Law Section 200.3A18 addresses the expansion of the designated time for parent member service from 1 year to 5 years. Advocacy for students with special needs will continue to be a top priority for New York State PTA. New York State PTA also has additional resolutions on supporting the concerns of our high-need students.
Is there any discussion on rescission 1? Okay. All those in favor of adopting rescission 1, Committee on Preschool Special Education, parent member, please signify by voting yes. Opposed, signify by voting no.
Oh, oops. It's backwards. You want to rescind it?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Excuse me, no is above yes. I don't know that that matters, but I wanted to bring it to your attention. Bonnie, is that a problem?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
And I will see if I can fix it.
That was weird.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Do you see them?
Madam President, I'm going to give it another shot here. Please, there you go. Thank you.
Okay. Try again.
Okay, so it's up again. Do you want to let them know it's up again, or they figured it out?
Yeah.
They figured it out?
Yeah. Bring me a chair.
The poll is now closed. Would you like me to show the results, Madam President?
Yes, please post the results.
Yes. Please post the results. Cool. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The motion is carried and rescission number 1, Committee on Preschool Special Education, parent member, has been adopted. Rescission number 2.
Yep, moving right along. Madam President, by direction of the Resolutions Committee, I move the adoption of rescission number 2, reinstate and restructure the Regions Component Retesting System.
Excuse me, Madam President. We do have somebody over here at the procedural mic.
Okay, thank you. It's hard to see that side because of the glare. This one I can see. Thank you.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes the delegate at microphone 2.
Thank you, Dana. Madam President, I'm Sarah Henris, Nassau Region Director. If the question asked for us to adopt the rescission, so I wanted clarity because I was hearing that around me at the other side. We are approving the rescission of the resolution that was just presented, correct?
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure. In using the word adoption, there was some questions around me. So it was, are we adopting the resolution or are we rescinding it? So I just wanted that clarity. So we just approved rescinding the resolution.
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, if you're adopting the rescission, that means that that particular resolve will be rescinded, and in effect, that one was rescinded.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Everybody good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Reinstate and restructure the Regions Component Retesting System. Resolved that the New York State Congress of Parents and Teachers, Inc. urge the New York State Education Department to reinstate and restructure component retesting to 1. Include all curriculum areas in which Regents exams are offered, and 2. Be aligned with the Regents exams content and format. And be it further resolved that the New York State PTA urge the New York State Education Department to simplify the component retesting program for easier access by 1. Scheduling component retests during all Regents exam periods, but not to conflict with other scheduled Regents exams. 2. Allowing students with a score of at least 55, but not greater than 64 on a Regents exam to take a component retest. And 3. Allowing students to sit for component retests regardless of the grade level after receiving appropriate review in the component area. Statement. This resolution should be rescinded. Since this resolution was adopted, the New York State Education Department and Board of Regents have developed, in conjunction with stakeholders, the new pathways to graduation. These pathways have safety nets and avenues for students to pursue a Regents diploma. The Regents component retesting system has become obsolete. Further, the Board of Regents will be impaneling a task force to examine revisions to the current New York State Regents system and seek solutions for other options to demonstrate proficiency. New York State PTA will continue to work with the Board of Regents on these initiatives and will serve on this task force.
Is there any discussion on rescission 2? Okay. All those in favor of adopting rescission 2, reinstate and restructure the Regents component retesting system, signify by voting yes. All those who oppose signify by voting no. By a show of hands, is anybody getting warm now? Okay. So I have my own personal fan, but now I see some people fanning themselves. Okay. Okay. You know what? I am the luckiest person on the planet, and I say that with all sincerity. The staff for New York State PTA takes the best care of me, and I thank you. Voting is closed. Can you please show the results? Okay. The motion is carried, and rescission number 2, reinstate and restructure the Regents component retesting system, has been adopted.
Okay, moving on to rescission number 3. Madam President, by direction of the Resolutions Committee, I move the adoption of rescission number 3. Adolescent pregnancy prevention. Resolved that the New York State Congress of Parents and Teachers, Inc. and its local units focus on the prevention of unintended adolescent pregnancy, recognizing the need for involving parents or persons in parental relationship and uniting their efforts with school and community resources. And be it further resolved that the New York State PTA support implementation of health/family life curricula in every school, emphasizing the importance of the participation of parents or persons in parental relationship to the student. And be it further resolved that the New York State PTA highlight and publish information about evidence-based health and family life programs that achieve good results. And be it further resolved that the New York State PTA support funding for school-based health clinics, which will provide comprehensive health care and counseling to adolescents and whatever pregnancy prevention services deemed appropriate by the local community. Statement. This resolution should be rescinded due to outdated language and does not reflect the current needs of our children and youth. This issue is being addressed by a new resolution that will be proposed at convention, a comprehensive sexuality, health, education resolution.
Is there any discussion on rescission number 3? Okay. All those in favor of adopting rescission number 3, adolescent pregnancy prevention, signify by voting yes. Any opposed, signify by voting no.
The poll is now closed.
Okay, please show us the results. Great. The motion is carried, and rescission number 3, adolescent pregnancy prevention, has been adopted. We have now finished retentions, updates, and rescissions. Patrice will read the 2 new resolutions, and we're very excited to have new resolutions.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Madam President. This year, the Resolutions Committee is happy to recommend 2 new resolutions. I will read the new resolutions in their entirety, including the whereas and resolves. Got new resolution number 1. Madam President, by direction of the Resolutions Committee, I move the adoption of new resolution number 1, protection of and support for transgender and gender nonconforming students. Whereas transgender and gender nonconforming youth are at increased risk of violence, victimization, bullying, substance use, self-harm, and suicidality, and experience inherent institutional biases. And whereas it has been shown that to achieve positive physical and mental health outcomes, transgender and gender nonconforming youth and their families should have access to mental health and medical assessments, appropriate support services, access to appropriate school facilities and programs, and inclusion of gender-affirming, age and developmentally appropriate education, and referrals for treatment if necessary. And whereas more research is necessary to directly address the needs of transgender and gender nonconforming youth to determine impact of treatment and support on physical and mental health, and to advance policies that reduce discrimination and victimization based on gender identity and expression. Therefore, be it resolved that the New York State Congress of Parents and Teachers, Inc. encourages schools to provide training and access to age and developmentally appropriate resources for educators, school-related professionals, families, and community members that affirm and support transgender and gender nonconforming youth. And be it further resolved that the New York State PTA urges the creation and implementation of comprehensive policies and practices specifically focused on the creation of a safe, inclusive, supportive, and accepting environment in schools free from harassment, intimidation, and bullying. And be it further resolved that the New York State PTA supports the passage of legislation, enactment, and implementation of state and federal laws and regulations specifically recognizing transgender and gender nonconforming student rights to a safe, inclusive, supportive, and accepting environment in schools free from harassment, intimidation, and bullying.
The question is on the adoption of new resolution number 1, protection of and support for transgender and gender nonconforming students. Would the maker of the new resolution number 1 like to speak to the resolution? Oh. Okay, Chair recognizes Susan Fisher at microphone 1.
Thank you, Madam President. My name is Susan Fisher from Nassau Region. Transgender, gender nonconforming, and non-binary youth experience significant bullying that has long-term impacts on their mental and physical health. National health organizations have called for the development of innovative strategies to address the needs of this population. It is important to provide inclusive, safe, and affirming environments where the youth feel comfortable discussing their identities and experiences in order to prevent negative health consequences and reduce stigma. Collaboration between diverse stakeholders, including clinicians, medical and public health professionals, researchers, government officials, school leaders, community members, and students, parents, and families is needed to generate strategies to prevent bullying and provide appropriate and essential support for transgender and other gender-expansive youth. Transgender and gender nonconforming youth who are supported and whose families are supported have been shown to have overall more positive health and mental health outcomes than those that do not have these supports. With rising media coverage highlighting the challenges that this population faces, we felt that this vulnerable population required specific support and protection addressing their unique needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on new resolution number 1? Okay. All those in favor of adopting new resolution number 1, protection of and support for transgender and gender nonconforming students, signify by voting yes. Any opposed, signify by voting no.
The poll is now closed.
Okay. Will you please show us the results? The motion is carried, and new resolution number 1, protection of and support for transgender and gender nonconforming students, has been adopted. Congratulations.
Okay, rolling into our new resolution number 2. Madam President, by direction of the Resolutions Committee, I move the adoption of new resolution number 2, comprehensive sexuality health education. Whereas New York State does not currently implement a comprehensive sexuality health education curriculum, and whereas it has been shown that adolescents who receive comprehensive sexuality health education have a lower rate of adolescent pregnancy, increased use of contraception, and decrease in sexually transmitted infections, therefore be it resolved that the New York State Congress of Parents and Teachers, Inc. supports the creation and implementation of a comprehensive sexuality health education program that includes learning standards aligned with national comprehensive sexuality health education learning standards and model curricula to facilitate uniform implementation. And be it further resolved that the New York State PTA supports the passage of education law and regulation that develops and implements comprehensive sexuality health education learning standards and the K-12 curriculum.
The question is on the adoption of new resolution number 2, comprehensive sexuality health education. Would the maker of new resolution number 2 like to speak to the resolution? The chair recognizes Susan Fisher at microphone 1.
Susan Fisher from Nassau Region again. And this is on behalf of the New York State PTA Resolutions Committee. This resolution supports the implementation of a comprehensive, age-appropriate, medically accurate sexuality education curriculum in New York State public schools. Comprehensive sexuality health education is a curriculum-based and age-appropriate process of teaching and learning about all aspects of sexuality, including but not limited to cognitive, emotional, physical, social, and cultural aspects. The goal of comprehensive sexuality health education is to empower students with information that will enable them to take care of their health and well-being, respect bodily autonomy, and provide the tools needed to develop social and individual relationships rooted in respect and clear consent. Comprehensive sexuality health education standards present sexual development as a natural, healthy part of human growth. These standards support schools in improving academic performance and provide parameters for teaching sexuality education and skills at different grade levels in a medically accurate, culturally sensitive, and age-appropriate manner. Comprehensive sexuality health education ultimately encourages higher academic performance and minimizes high school dropout rates by helping to reduce bullying, teen pregnancy, and sexual harassment and violence. The learning is age-appropriate and cumulative, so that all students from kindergarten through high school receive and build on information that is right for their level of cognitive and social development. Comprehensive sexuality health education is more than just teaching young people how to avoid unintended pregnancy and improving health outcomes. It is critical for building a culture of consent and preventing sexual assault and violence. Thank you.
Is there any discussion on new resolution number 2? Do we have anyone who previously submitted a motion?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yes. No. I'm getting 2 prompts. Hang on.
No? No?
No? Okay. Okay, great. All those in favor of adopting new resolution number 2, comprehensive sexuality health education, signify by voting yes in the poll. If you are opposed, signify by voting no. Are you ready? No. So I'm just going to make a public service announcement real quick.
The poll is now closed.
Thank you. Those people who are traveling home on Southwest flight, I just got an alert to my phone. It's time to check in.
That's great.
Okay, now we can move on. Can you please show us the results? The motion is carried, and new resolution number 2, comprehensive sexuality health education, has been adopted. Congratulations. It's fantastic. I'm so excited. And that brings the report of the Resolutions Committee to a close.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to give my heartfelt thanks to Patrice as chair of the committee, and to the Resolutions Committee who are sitting together in a pack there in case they needed to share any documentation. They're together. It is a year-long process, and next week we'll start the process for the following year. But if you could all just stand and give everyone a wave, I want to thank the Resolutions Committee.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Patrice. Okay. We're getting close to the end here. Is there any new business? Okay, Lori May, who was our convention coordinator, she's got a few announcements.
Find the page, and we got to do this really quick. The first order of business is when that gavel drops, we have to get out of here so that they can set up for dinner and the party. So by 5:15, we have to be out of this room.
Okay.
A reminder to the governance team that there is a meeting at 6 p.m. with our Alliance partners in the Empire Room. The portion of tonight's meeting, a focus on student mental health, will be shown tomorrow during session 4. The first-timers photo that was supposed to be at 4:45 will now be taken later this evening during the banquet. I have some other things. We have 2 items from Lost and Found. We found a flash drive was turned in, a PTA flash drive was turned in, and a state board pin was turned in. They were found in this room after the last session. So if anybody is missing a PTA flash drive or a pin, I have them. So please see me. Hold on, sorry, somebody flipped my page. And I had it all written down. I think that's the most important thing, that we need to clean the room out by 5:15. Okay. Everybody get ready for dinner, have a great time, and we'll party after the banquet in this room. Again, you'll have to move out after dinner so we can get some things set up, but that's
Okay.
basically.
Just
yes.
give us another few minutes. Lori is finished with her announcements. I still have a few.
Yeah.
So you can please indulge us for another few minutes.
Well, you can stop indulging me.
Okay. My pleasure.
I can't find the list.
As we conclude General Session 3, a reminder that you have only a few more hours to visit our virtual exhibit hall to be eligible to win a prize. The virtual exhibit hall is full of amazing opportunities for you and your unit. You received an email with a link to a Google form where you submit the exhibit hall special words before 5 p.m. today. We'll extend it. It's 5:08. We'll extend it a few more minutes for a chance to win prizes. For those of you joining us in person, the anniversary celebration dinner is at 7 p.m., followed by a DJ party, all right here in this beautiful ballroom. During the few minutes of transitioning to make room to dance, all are encouraged to go back up to your rooms, get comfortable, put on your convention t-shirt that you received in your convention bag, come on down and let's have a great dance party and have fun. No heels. Well, maybe Christina, I don't know. Tomorrow morning, an in-person workshop session is at 9 a.m. and 2 virtual workshops are at 8:30 a.m. and another at 9:15 a.m. Please don't miss out on these fantastic workshops. The 4th and last general session will begin promptly at 10 a.m. Be sure to join us with a presentation of membership awards, reflections presentation, and installation of our new officers, or returning officers, I should say. Yes? Okay. I'll just keep this in my hand, ready. Okay. I'd also like to, while we're waiting for Lori to come up, or if the members of the LGBTQ+ committee could just linger for 30 seconds, we'd like to take a committee photo in front of our official convention background. Who's doing it? Yeah. Okay. Mm.
The announcement is that the workshop that was moved to tomorrow, 2:05, will be at the same time tomorrow, 9:15 in the director's room, which is down the hall. It's one of the rooms we were in last night. So if you were signed up for 2:05, it will be tomorrow at 9:15 in the director's room.
Thank you, Lori. Unless there is an objection, we are adjourned until 10 a.m. Tomorrow, we're adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow after these important messages from our Alliance partners, Funds to Org and Right Reasons Technology.
Hi, I'm Doc Watson from Right Reason Technologies, and we're thrilled to partner with the PTA on a critical tool. Despite the best efforts of educators and families, there's been delayed learning for most students. If children struggle in school, it can dampen their love for learning. Have them check their knowledge and get help for any challenges that are identified. They can independently work through engaging lessons targeted at their personal questions and finish any learning that was delayed. Visit us at our booth or rightreasontech.com to get started free.
One voice.
One voice.
One voice.
One voice.
One voice.
One voice.
This song's for everybody across the USA. If you want to see a change, hop on board this train and help us make a difference today. This song's for